Thanks for staying here on the AM show. It's now time to talk a bit about nature, yes. And Darryl Busu, he's Deputy National Director of Rocha Ghana, and they have a petition. They want Ghana, they want the president to turn the Atiwa Forest into a national park, just like we have at Kakum. I'm just going to be finding out for him why. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. So why should we turn the Atiwa Forest, I mean, really, into a national park?
Yes, okay. I think I'm very happy today, first of all. And even before this discovery we are talking about, there are so many reasons why Atiwa should be turned into a national park. And we have been, trying to get the government to listen and to really heed to our call for a long time. And the main reasons are these. First of all, Atiwa is the source of water for over 5 million people. If you think about it, the people in Accra, you get our water source, a lot of it from Weja, and all the water that is flowing into the reservoir at Weja is coming from this forest. Again, there are several communities who are not in Accra, who live somewhere in the regions of Eastern region, they are even in the parts of Western region. All of these communities, they get water from two other rivers, River Yensu and also River Birim, which also comes from this forest reserve. So by itself, as a hydrological gem, the forest is situated in a way that it is constantly interacting with the clouds and allowing rain to come down the hills, which feeds several streams. So by that particular reason, we're saying that government should not touch this particular forest because of this very important reason. Because I don't know any other way government can provide water for 5 million people. If you break down this hill and turn it into a bauxite mine. Okay.
So if government gives you some reasons or, a plan of how they're going to provide water for the over 5 million people you're talking about, would you still be convinced that we should mine there, plus the millions of cedis we could be getting from mining bauxite in that particular part of the country?
So we have gone ahead even before this particular discovery to do what we call an economic analysis.
Sorry, you keep talking about a discovery, but you don't tell us what it is. You need to mention so that people can understand.
Exactly.
Because you keep making reference
so
to
I will say basically that 3 weeks ago, a team in the field will be using what you call infrared motion sensor cameras, which we put in many parts of the forest to detect human activity and also animal presence within this forest. And the data started coming in. We've been analyzing the results, and we spotted this monkey. For a while, we didn't know what it was because we've not seen it in the records before. An interesting thing is that Atiwa has been under the radar of several scientists doing several surveys, but none of them actually discovered that this was something we all need to pay attention to. So we decided to float around the picture to a few people, experts in the field, primate experts. We also sent it to the International Union for Conservation of Nature. They have what they call a primate specialist group. So they looked at the pictures and said, hey guys, you guys are onto something. You have discovered a rare, globally critical endangered species.
Here in Ghana?
Here in Ghana.
This is good news, guys. And we get to be on the radar.
And for us, we've been so excited and we just couldn't wait to tell the world about this. And the good thing is that actually it is tend to be the only picture that has been seen of this animal in the wild. And when you say something is critically, globally endangered, it means that it is very, very so rare that it is facing the highest threats in the wild. That means that if we don't take very good care, we are going to lose this species in the wild. So that is how big this discovery is. And Atiwa is not only known for this discovery, it's also being noted to have so many other species. And for that purpose, the forest reserve is considered a globally significant biodiversity area. So actually, it's a hotspot. Okay, with a diverse array of plants and animals. It is almost noted to be one of the richest areas to see butterflies in the whole of Africa. One scientist in the US said that it is one of the most unique places to see biodiversity in the world.
Sorry to cut in, but as you're talking, I'm beginning to wonder why we have all this in Ghana, yet we seem to be struggling, especially with drawing attention to ourselves, because now you're beginning to say things and I'm having a mental picture. I'm like, wow, this is good, because I watch a lot of nature stuff on Discovery Channel and all that, and it's really, really good stuff to hear that we have this right here in Ghana. But you've petitioned the president on this matter. What exactly do you want him to do?
Well, we want the government to, first of all, rescind any decision to touch this particular forest, or even plans to take the bauxite that is underneath. And the reason we are saying this is that the bauxite that is underneath this forest is, first of all, of very low grade. Several surveys by mineralogists, experts in the field, and even companies who many years ago had interest to come for these bauxite realized that, look, what is there in terms of the bauxite is not worth the biocultural assets that we are going to lose if we should lose it. So our petition to the government is, stop all plans to mine bauxite. We are not saying stop bauxite planning or going for bauxite mining. Okay, go ahead. As a country, we have every right to exploit our natural resources. But we don't need to do that at the expense of critical ecosystems that provide water, that supports biodiversity, that is not only significant to Ghana, but also significant to the whole world. I mean, if we lose this forest, I'm just afraid what else we are going to do, because there's so many things we are yet to discover. And this recent find only confirms it. As I'm speaking, I know some scientists are currently struggling to name a frog species they've just discovered from this forest. So
right
it doesn't have a name yet, because we just discovered it. And these are the things I'm talking about. There are so many things. You talked about how come we have all these things, but we don't really get to hear about them. Because as you know, as a country, we've really not done too well when it comes to protecting our species. Our law enforcement regulations that secure these natural resources are so poor. We're losing them on the highways. You see them all the time. If you're on a drive from here, from Accra to Kumasi, I'm sure you see a lot of people selling bushmeat by the highway.
Yes.
So maybe this monkey that we even discovered has been part of this bushmeat and somebody has already eaten it. But you see, until you really get down and see how really globally it is significant, you miss a lot of things.
So let's talk about Rocha Ghana now.
Yeah.
What exactly do you do, and how long have you been doing this?
Well, we are an environmental NGO. Our main focus is on helping to protect important ecological habitats. And so here I'm talking about forest reserves, national parks, and also helping to bring out information on species and their threats that they are faced with and how best we can all conserve. We also work a lot with communities who live close to some of these resources so that we all think around, plan how to secure our natural resources. And also another very good work we've been looking at very recently is how to engage with district assemblies so that as they plan for their medium-term development planning, they integrate sustainable development goals and also ecosystem services in their planning. And this we've been doing in the eastern region, where Atiwa Forest is also, and also in areas in the northern parts of Ghana, also around Molu National Park. So basically, we are focused on the natural assets that we have as a country and how we can rally people, society, almost everyone, to see how we can secure this. Because first of all, our very livelihood depends on these things. If you see the budget that the president, the finance minister brought out, all of the things that they are talking about, food for jobs and everything, it depends on a very good natural environment. If you don't have the agro-biodiversity to ensure pollination of your crops, you are wasting your time. That is why I think that even now we have artificial pollinators, sending people around the cocoa farm to pollinate, because all those insect pollinators, we've killed all of them with the chemicals we use on the farms. So if we learn how to appreciate these natural resources and how to work with them, I'm sure they could be more beneficial than the way we are using them now. And that is what we seek to do, basically, as an organization.
Very interesting. I'm just beginning to get a sense, I may be wrong because you're in the field.
Yeah.
Do you think as a country we don't pay a lot of attention to this part of our world? You know, everybody's busy getting money. You know, I don't care. I mean, I see an insect and I just, you know, slap it on the wall and it's dead. I mean, we don't really care, do we?
Yeah, I mean, that's his observation. We have observed that we don't really pay too much attention. You get it, like you said. And we do a lot of things not thinking about it. And like I said, I mean, if you look at the national posture, when it talked about all the things we need to do, all the core, there was nothing said on environment. I was wondering, they are seeking to take oil from the water basin, you are seeking to take bauxite from the forest reserves, you are seeking to do food for jobs, but nothing was said to how to secure the natural resource base. You get it? And once we miss that, we are virtually spelling our own doom, and we need to actually start as a country really pay attention. And like you have also said, I'm happy you are hosting this program. You know how media can be very influential in changing the perception of people in the society. You saw what the media did when it came to Galamsey. I mean, we've been hammering the issue of Galamsey for a long time until the media took it up and it changed the whole playing field. And that's what we are calling for. I'm sure as the fourth arm of government, unseen but also very powerful, we are asking that at least, just like you have done, we need to re-echo the relevance of the natural resources to our very livelihood. And like you said, we need to do more as a country on how our law enforcement is very weak when it comes to secure our natural resources. And that is why we are facing all of these problems. We always make international commitments to protect the environment. And when it comes down to really doing it, somebody say walking the talk is a different ball game. We actually do the opposite. And as I need to say that for a long time, whilst other countries are trying to grow forests, we seem to be losing more and more of our forests, and more of our environmental space is getting degraded. So we still have a long way to go.
We still have a long way to go. But hopefully we'll start from your petition to the president.
Yes.
We'll be following it keenly to see what comes out of it. You said that species we discovered again is called what?
The white-naped mangabe.
Okay, white-naped mangabe. It's actually a very beautiful monkey. I decided to search it out. Very beautiful. It's not like anything I've ever seen. But when next I go into the forest, because I want to join you.
Oh, really?
Yes,
okay,
I'd love to.
That would be very nice. That would be very nice. Yes,
I'd love to.
Yes. We have actually right now as I speak, there's a team of from the U.S. Embassy who are going to visit the forest just to also experience what is there, because there are so many waterfalls in there. It has a very interesting geological landscape, several hills. So it's a very nice place to go. And anytime we are ready to go, I would actually join. I would actually ask that you join us.
I'm ready to go now. It'll be beautiful to observe, and obviously I'd go there so people at home can also get to see what happens.
And actually just about 1 hour drive from Accra, and we are thinking about a very beautiful tourism attraction to be developed in these areas, and I'm telling you, it will be more than what we see in Kakum.
Thank you very much for joining us. Daryl Bumsu is Deputy National Director at Rocha Ghana, and they've actually been visiting a lot of our forests, trying to understand what's happening there with the species. Look, it's a beautiful thing. I can already picture it. I want to go to the forest, so you have to get me there.
Definitely.
And then I can let you at home know what's really happening down there. And good news for us, we've discovered a species, the white-naped Mangabe, yeah.
Yes.
I always get it wrong, but that's a beautiful one. You can't just Google it and see for yourself. We have really good stuff here in Ghana, and we have to learn to protect what we have. Thank you once again.